The following podcast contains movie spoilers and mature content, including graphic descriptions of violence. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome to Opening Kill, the podcast that dives deep into the chilling world of horror films. Every Thursday, we explore a different movie, from cult classics to modern masterpieces, uncovering behind-the-scenes secrets, analyzing themes, and sharing fun facts about your favorite horror films. Join us as we chat with filmmakers and fellow horror film fans to celebrate the fear in cinema. And now, the hosts of Opening Kill, Michael Doran and Brian O'Connor.
Hello, Michael Duran.
How are we feeling?
It's another week.
It's another week, another dollar.
And episode 27.
27.
Keep racking them up.
Is there any special thing that correlates with this number for you?
Not for me, no.
Not for me, yeah.
No, last week was 26. That was my number. So
now we have to wait till 126 for it to matter
I
again.
think so. At least 26 was a good movie.
It was a good one. Yeah.
Not to say this is the worst movie I've ever seen, but it's not the greatest either.
It's the worst Halloween movie I've ever seen.
We're going to be talking about Halloween Ends. And boy, we have a lot of thoughts on this movie. Since it came out back in 2022. We'll bring you the scare preview later in the podcast, as we always do. I want to welcome all of our new listeners. Thank you for checking us out and downloading the podcast and sticking with us.
Yeah. We got one from New Zealand last week.
Yes, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
That's where they filmed The Lord of the Rings.
Yes.
What a great film.
That is I wish it was a horror film.
I wish we were talking about that this week.
Instead of this one. So what movies did you see this week?
I saw Fear Street Prom Queen.
That was my scare preview pick from a while back.
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was, I thought, I like a lot in this movie. It's not perfect by any stretch, but it's also not worth the absolute hate it's getting by everyone.
I wonder why that is.
I'm kind of curious. Like, I mean, pacing issues, sure, it's got them,
sure.
But it also has, I think, a fun reveal.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a little throwback 80s slasher that, has a cool look to the killer as well. I think he looks sick.
Me too.
I love that. And yeah, there's a couple twists and turns here and there all around. You could do a lot worse.
It wasn't my favorite in the series, but I still think it was solid.
Yeah, and that's a series that doesn't have a bad one. So, and I still think it doesn't have.
No,
a bad one.
I agree.
Yeah, like it's fun and it's on Netflix, so it's like just check it out.
Yeah, go to it.
Yeah.
So I watched that one. I also watched a movie called Head Count from 2018.
Okay.
This is a 5-star movie for me.
Oh, okay.
It was that good. So it's about a group of college students. They're on a weekend getaway in the desert, and they accidentally summon a supernatural entity, and it's intent on using them for its deadly ritual. It was just, the performances were great, well produced. I thought it was intelligently written. No real big names in it. It was directed by Elle Callahan. She wrote and directed Witch Hunt from 2021, which another movie, it's on my watch list. I haven't seen it yet. But no, this was just a great movie, Head Count. And you kind of get sucked into it. Then you realize there's so many twists in it. And just the way it was written, good movie. I really liked it.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know if I've heard of this one.
Yeah. 2018's Head Count.
5 stars.
5 stars.
All
I don't
right.
give those out too often, but this one I just kind of walked away from going, man, this one needs 5 stars.
Yeah.
So
Hell yeah.
that's what I did.
Newsies. Do you have any fun news?
I do. I actually have some Terrifier 4 news.
Okay, I'm excited.
Okay. John Squires from Bloody Disgusting is reporting that Damien Leone is promising to reveal Art the Clown's backstory in the first 15 minutes of Terrifier 4. Now, we've seen a ton of Art the Clown in these movies,
Right.
but know virtually nothing about him.
Right.
Where he came from, what his story is. So he was doing Leone was doing a video chat with content creator Chris Parker, and he said, quote, "I know this word gets used a lot, but it's going to be epic. It's not going to disappoint. You're going to get Art's backstory in the first 15 minutes of the movie. The script for Terrifier 4 is underway, and it's shaping up to be the most epic, horrifying, thrilling, emotional, and satisfying conclusion to the Terrifier saga. So he's pumping it up.
Yeah, I hope it lives up.
I do too. I
think it will.
I think
he
so
handles
too.
these movies with such care. Like they're his babies.
Oh yeah.
So.
David Howard Thornton and Lauren Lavera are expected to come back as Art the Clown and Final Girl Sierra, respectively.
She's such a good final girl.
Oh my gosh.
She really elevates those movies.
She does. She does. Terrifier 3 went on to become the highest grossing unrated film of all time, 90 million plus at the box office. That was amazing.
So cool. Yeah, I got some Frankenstein news.
Yes.
So Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein. We finally got a trailer. We finally got like an actual look at this thing. And I am so surprised this isn't going to theaters. It's giving like Nosferatu quality vibes. Like it looks like it's going to be so well done. Huge set pieces. Like it's a big movie. But no, it's dropping on Netflix in November.
Okay.
But the trailer looks incredible. We got Oscar Isaac in it, Jacob Elordi, who I don't know a lot about, but what I do know is that he's a very hunky guy, and a lot of people are obsessed with him. But he's gonna be the monster. So kind of an interesting casting there.
Okay.
We also have Mia Goth, who I love. Mia
she's
Goth,
great.
and Christopher Waltz as well. So a stacked cast. It's shaping up to be, I think. I'm mad that it's not going to go in theaters though.
I am too.
I want to see it on the big screen, but
yeah.
I mean, I'm also down with just popping some popcorn at home and popping on Netflix to check it out. But I've been waiting to get an actual look at it, and I'm glad we finally have one. So
Stranger Things just dropped their trailer, and it looks interesting.
Stranger Things looks like it's doing everything it can to make people not care about Stranger Things anymore.
Well, and then you have to wait till November. It's like the end of November when it comes out now.
Yeah,
and it's been forever.
And it's given like 3 dates so it's like I guess big episodes are dropping like Christmas, Thanksgiving. Like it just seems like you take like no one wants to watch that. I haven't seen Stranger Things past season 1.
Yeah.
And like after season 1, I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Like everyone was like, you have to watch it. You have to watch it. I'm like, okay, it wasn't anything special. And so now I'm like, it's been what, 4 years in between this and the last season?
It feels like it. It's been a long time.
So all I hear about is like, it's coming, and it's never been here.
Never
so
been here.
I guess it's finally showing up. But I couldn't give a fuck less about this anymore.
I probably like it a little bit more than you do. So I'm interested to see. But because it has been so long, I've got to go back now and rewatch everything because I don't remember how the last season finished off.
And they're like saying this is going to be like, I know the finale is going to be like 2.5 hours long.
I think so. Yeah. It's going to be like
a movie. Get the fuck out of here.
Well,
just make a movie.
Yeah,
Jeez.
Exactly. Speaking of movies, here we go. Halloween ends.
We already have to do this.
We have to.
Okay,
I know you've been like trying to put
about
this
Stranger Things more.
Well,
did you get a new figure for the studio?
No, I did.
You did.
It's on its way. It's not here yet, but you should have seen all of. We have 5 Funko Pop. Are there 5 or 6 now?
1, 2, 3, 4, 6. Okay. Ghostface is 6.
Okay, Ghostface. I've got Abigail. I've got Freddy,
Leatherface,
Jason, and what's the other one?
Ghostface and Michael over there.
Okay, so that's
Michael's hiding because
Michael's
doesn't
hiding.
want to talk about
So that's
this movie.
5.
Well,
so,
no.
Who
1,
else is
2,
over?
3, 4,
What
5,
2
6.
are over here? I can't see.
Jason and Ghostface.
Oh, Jason and Ghostface. Oh, Michael Myers is over here. Yeah.
Yeah. He's hiding behind Hatchet.
Got
A
it.
superior film.
We should do that film too. Yeah. All right. Halloween Ends. Just the Facts. Written by Paul Brad Logan, Chris Bermier, Danny McBride, and David Gordon Green, who also directed. Stars Jamie Lee Curtis, Andy Matichek, Rowan Campbell, Will Patton, Kyle Richards, and James Jude Courtney as Michael Myers / The Shape. Was released October 14th, 2022. Made $105.4 million at the box office. They made it for $33 million. They started filming January 10th, 2022. It wrapped up in June. It was shot in Salt Lake City and mostly in Savannah, Georgia. Clocks in with a runtime of 111 minutes.
It's too long. And I'm kind of surprised it made that much at the box office because it was released at home the same day.
I think, anticipation, and there are some diehard Halloween fans like myself that didn't realize what it was going to end up being.
I mean,
like,
I definitely watched it that opening day, but I watched this one at home.
Yeah.
I just had a feeling.
Yep. Yeah, it's not great, in my opinion. I'll say that. This wraps up the Laurie Strode Michael Myers saga. 4 years after the last massacre, Laurie tries to move on, but a troubled young man named Corey Cunningham becomes linked to Michael and starts his own killing spree. As Corey spirals, Michael returns, leading to the final confrontation with Laurie that, spoiler alert, ends with Michael's death once and for all.
That part was cool, at least.
Yeah.
The actual death.
But
not
what
the nonsense leading up to.
Yeah, that I totally agree.
That's how I feel about a lot of this movie. It's like, it could have been cool.
Yeah.
If it weren't for all the other bullshit in this movie.
Pretty much.
Like, because it does have its moments. I can't say it's complete dog shit. Well, I can.
You can.
And I will. But like, I do also have to say, it could have been great. It had the makings of a good movie in it.
Right.
It just fumbled at every turn.
It did.
Yeah.
It did. So it starts out with kind of a flashback recap of the last 40 years and leading up to the end of Halloween Kills, the previous movie. And so we see a lot of different things. And then we see that Corey Cunningham, a 21-year-old aspiring engineer who is played by Rowan Campbell, is babysitting young Jeremy Allen.
Mm-hmm.
And
sure is.
You think Jeremy Allen's a sweet little kid. He's a little prick.
He is. And I like that he's a bedwetter.
Yes.
Because I don't know why that just, it's like, of course you are, you little fucker. You're difficult in every way.
Yep.
Poor mom.
I know.
Changing your sheets.
Yep.
And yeah, because she's like, he's kind of scared about all the Michael Myers stuff going on. So he's been, having some trouble. And this kid's an asshole.
He really is.
Yeah.
And the mom says, no scary movies, don't do anything, because it's Halloween and they're off to a party.
I do like that he's like, Corey tries to get him to do something. He's like, you think I'm going to take orders from an ugly ass boy babysitter?
I'm not a babysitter. Like, yeah. So they end up watching a scary movie.
Of course.
And that's whatever that is. And then Corey gets up, goes into the kitchen and going to get some snacks. And he comes back and he hears a noise, like something breaking or tipping over, and it's a lamp that's fallen over or something. And kid's gone.
And so is the knives from the kitchen.
Yeah.
So you're like, oh shit, is Michael Myers here?
Mm-hmm.
He's not.
No, he sure isn't.
No.
It's just a little dopey kid playing games with the babysitter.
Mm-hmm.
So they play a little cat and mouse, and Corey ends up going upstairs and goes into the attic.
And so the stairs in this house are pretty cool.
Yeah.
So it's like a spiral staircase, but like with big, like a huge empty space in between the spiral
right.
stairs.
So
it's a massive staircase.
So if you're at the top floor, you can look straight down
Straight
see the floor of the entry area.
Yeah, which is important.
Yeah, it is important. Yes, it is.
Why? I don't know.
I don't know.
We'll figure it out together.
So Corey goes into the attic, and then the little shit slams the door and locks him in the attic.
Yeah.
Which that's kind of a strange prank.
So funny.
So funny. Haha.
This kid's a natural comedian.
Well, Corey's freaking out.
Yeah.
He wants out.
He's a timid guy. He's not
very much.
Yeah, he's
very
not
much.
the toughest guy you've ever seen.
So he's banging on the door, screaming at the kid to let him out. And at about that time, the parents get home from their party.
Yeah.
And they pull the car around under the driveway. This is a nice house. These people have some money.
They do.
It's evident.
Not enough money to buy some manners, but whatever.
No. So Corey finally kicks the door down, not realizing that young Jeremy is standing right there.
So he kicks the door down and little Jeremy.
And then Jeremy...
Opening kill.
goes flying over the banister down through that opening we just told you about. And that's 2 floors, maybe. I don't know.
It's high.
It's high up there, and lands on this hard surface floor, and blood just starts to pool out the back of his head. And right before he hits the floor, the parents walk in.
Yeah.
And realize something's amiss.
So the camera's like pointing at the parents as they come through, and then you see little baby boy fall right in front of the camera, and you see his like head like bounce on. Like,
Oh, God.
it's gnarly.
That's 9 minutes and 21 seconds into the film. So they got the first kill in under 10 minutes here of this film. It is gnarly. You never like to see kids, but this one was just, he had it coming.
You never like to see kids killed, but I didn't mind it. This one.
So the parents are like freaking out. She's
screaming up as her bloody son is just in her arms, and she sees Corey, why he has the knife now in his hand.
Yeah, he
doesn't
a
look
knife.
good.
No, not at all.
But
and she looks up at him and screams, "What did you do?"
And he's just like, nothing.
Nothing. And he didn't. I mean, he didn't intentionally.
Yeah, it's an accident, but it's a consequential accident, and it is a butcher knife for me.
It is a butcher knife for me as well. I thought it was well done and unexpected. And
oh yeah, it's very unexpected.
Yeah,
that
totally.
kid's smashing right in front of the camera. You're like, oh
yes. So Corey gets arrested. The police show up, although he's later cleared of any charges. You know, he didn't intentionally do this, but the Haddonfield community still ostracizes him. They want nothing to do with him, and it's really.
And this is where we're introduced to this like idea of evil infecting a community,
right?
And that we had evil dying tonight in the last movie. Now we have evil infects a community in this one, and all of the themes these movies try to do are just too heavy-handed.
Yes,
it is so just like subtlety is not something you guys know how to do.
So Laurie Strode at this point is writing a book on Haddonfield and Michael Myers. And so as Corey is sitting in the back of the police car, you hear her voice narrating like the first chapter or whatever of her book. And then you actually see her drive by and she looks at Corey. But she talks about what you just said, how the town has turned in on itself. And people are dying. And then it cuts to, a shot of a car with two, looks like they just come back from a big game safari. They were dressed in the hat and everything else. And they both, husband and wife, I'm assuming, shot in the temple and they're dead in their car. Kills 2 and 3.
Yep.
Then we pan over to a woman who is hanging outside of her house.
This is actually kind of sad because it's
Oscar's mom,
who was the kind of dorky boy in the first one, who was dressed as a devil,
right?
And he gets the gate like impaled through his chin.
Yes.
And we do see in Halloween Kills, his mom is in the hospital and sees her son's body,
right? Which
then it's kind of sad because she's also wearing his devil costume.
Yep, and she was kill number 3.
Yeah,
so off screen we don't see these last 3 kills here. And then all of a sudden we jump 4 years.
Yeah, I hate this decision. So my issue with a lot of this is as good a time as any to bring it up. At the end of Halloween Kills, Laurie is narrating this idea that every kill Michael elevates into something more powerful, and to then have him at the end of that, to where he slaughters basically the entire renegade like crew of people coming after him. He should be unstoppable if that's the case, which is what she's saying it is. But then he just disappears.
Yeah.
And he's just like hiding and like I don't get it. I don't understand these choices.
And that kind of ties into how they kill Michael Myers at the very end of this movie. It's a very human death, which it doesn't seem like that should make sense.
Well, yeah, because she also, even at the end, she's like, you're actually nothing than just a human. So like, what is all these false setups that we're doing?
Yeah.
I just don't understand it. It was almost as if they just panicked at the reception of Kills and just decided to change everything for no reason. Like, I don't get it.
It went in a completely different direction than what I thought it would, and I don't think it was the right direction either.
No, like I understand wanting to do something unique and different, but like sometimes there's franchises where that's just not wanted.
Yeah. Well, clearly it wasn't with this one because there were so many people that were unhappy and not pleased with how this movie went. I thought the first one in this new trilogy was pretty solid.
It's given the day, it's either my favorite Halloween movie or it's my second favorite.
Halloween Kills lost something.
Oh, yeah.
And this one took another step down. It's kind of like they started strong and ended.
It was literally just a slide.
Yeah.
It was just all the way
Yeah.
down. And Halloween Kills, I still had like some faith. I'm like, if they carry this on to where he's like this now, he elevates with each kill and they carry that on, I'm intrigued at least. But
Right.
they didn't, and it just was a clusterfuck.
So as I said, we're now 4 years later, and we cut to Laurie Strode, and she's still writing her memoir and living with her granddaughter, Allison, who, of course, is played by the wonderful Andy Matichek. And here they are, present day now.
Living their best life,
Yeah.
even though their mom and dad and daughter were just slaughtered 4 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And they're happier than ever.
They are. And they have a house on a public street.
Yeah.
She no longer lives in this fortress out in the woods.
Right.
She's decided to go. And Corey is now working at his stepfather's salvage yard, and he's being bullied by some teenagers.
Some teenagers, and you would expect them to be like the jocks of the school.
Right.
They're not. They're the marching band.
Yeah. Yeah, they are. I thought that was an odd choice as well, but okay.
That's a choice that's odd that I kind of liked.
Yeah, it's different.
Yeah, why not?
It's different.
Let's have them be little asshole drummer heads. Like, why not?
So he's coming out of this convenience store and he's holding like a glass bottle of chocolate milk or
Milk,
something.
because
Yeah.
he's obsessed with milk in this
Yeah,
movie.
yeah.
That's what he drinks while he's babysitting. That's where he's getting out of a convenience store.
Yep.
It's his special treat.
So they bully him. They catch him coming out. They bully him, and he drops the glass or crushes it in his hand, and he cuts open his hand. And Laurie Strode drives up conveniently at that time and
Right.
shoos the boys away, and then
Get out of here, boys.
Get out of go bye.
Go bother
And
someone else.
So and she ends up. Was it her or was it him that ends up like knifing the tire of his?
It's him, but she tells him to.
Yeah.
So this is what I don't understand about her character here. She's fully healed,
Yeah,
supposedly.
supposedly.
Yet she's still being like, let's cause some like damage. Go stab people's tires with this knife I just carry around.
Right. Yeah.
And so yeah, it's just she's maddeningly inconsistent in this movie.
Yeah.
I'm like, either have her healed or don't.
Right.
Preferably don't. I like a damaged person.
So he knifes the tire of the car and all this. Then they leave. She takes him to a clinic to get his hand looked at.
Right.
And that's where Allison works as a medical assistant for this just douchebag doctor,
Oh my
Dr.
God.
Mathis. This
What a
guy's
guy.
a piece of work.
Dude, he's mentioned in the Halloween Kills. So
right.
the nurse
Yep.
and the doctor who dressed up like that.
Yep.
Turns out the guy is actually a nurse in that office.
Okay.
And there's a moment
Yep.
where his girlfriend's like, Mathis is a fucking asshole.
Yep.
So
And we see that.
and we
because,
see it now.
Yeah, he is.
Full circle.
So Allison is dressing the wound and kind of cleaning it out, and there's this spark between
oh my
them.
God, she gets so horny so quick.
I mean, this is
I think
like
I saw the windows start fogging up. Instant. Jeez.
happens pretty fast, actually. And so they start sort of dating. He's shy, but they end up, she pursues him, and they,
He's always like, I can't. I killed a kid. And she's
Yeah.
like, I know.
yeah.
And I love it.
And so she's driving down the freeway or down the highway, and there's this loud rattling on her car. She gets pulled over by a cop who happens to be an ex-boyfriend that she dated.
Right.
A little bit creepy.
Oh, he's very creepy.
he's-
and he's got no game.
No. And
Not that I can talk. I don't have game either. But
the only reason he pulled her over was to be able to see her and see if she'd go back out with him again. And something's rattling in the back of
isn't he
your
like,
car.
I pulled you over for being the prettiest girl in
Yeah.
Haddonfield or something like that.
Very cheesy.
Oh yeah, your car's broken.
Yeah. By the way,
BT Dubs.
so they go their own way, and now Corey works at the salvage yard, and he works on automobiles and things.
Yeah.
So
he's got some know-how.
yeah. So he says, "Bring it by the shop, and I'll take a look at it." And
I
that's,
got you, girl.
Yeah. And she
Free of
does.
charge.
She does.
He does.
Yeah. But the boys are there too.
Oh golly.
They end up
those
bringing
boys.
their car because they don't know how to change a flat tire.
Well, they're
So-
too busy drumming. And
They are.
playing
They
tuba,
are.
so they
Yeah.
don't have time to learn about cars.
Exactly. So they're at the salvage yard, and so Corey was just gifted a motorcycle by his stepfather.
Who's the only? I will say this. I
Yes.
do appreciate how they've really shown that even at home, Corey doesn't have anyone.
Right.
He does have this stepfather, though, who's the only decent person in his life.
Can we talk about the mother?
Oh, we
for a minute?
will.
Oh
when
my
she
gosh.
when she does the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
What the
oh my
hell?
God. CPS didn't show up soon enough.
No, not at all.
God.
You wonder why this kid has some problems. Yeah, well, there it is. So this actually kind of starts this little relationship here between Corey and Allison. And we are going to go to a party here pretty soon.
Yeah, at a bar.
At a bar that is owned by
Lindsay?
Yeah, it's her bar.
Yeah.
Which we saw.
We saw it in the first one.
Yep.
And the second one.
The second one.
I thought she died in that second one.
No, she didn't. She survived because she's in the third one.
Well, yeah, I get it, but a lot of people who died show up in
This
ones
is true.
after.
This is true. So they're at this Halloween party. They're in costume. And there's a very cool moment here where Nick Castle, the original Michael Myers, shows up. He's an old man. He's got like this trench coat thing on and he's acting all crazy.
Because Corey's dressed up as a scarecrow.
Right.
And so then, he walks up and it's like, bet you want this or something because it's a heart because
So,
Wizard
yeah.
of Oz.
He opens up his trench coat. He's got a bunch of fake organs.
Yeah.
See anything you like?
Which is a callback to the OG one.
Yeah.
Where the girl's in bed and she's like, see anything you like?
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah.
So it was cool that Nick Castle was there. He also did some of the breathing sounds, and he may or may not have been in as Michael Myers, like a stand-in where you might see a shot of him. That has never been confirmed, but people were talking that
He was in the previous.
Yeah.
So I don't know about this one.
Yeah,
though.
I don't
I
either.
couldn't find anything like concrete.
Right. And then Jeremy's mother is wasted at the bar.
Yeah.
And this was a
Why
weird
was she
moment.
here?
I don't know. So Corey walks up to the bar and he's been dancing, so he's laughing. He's having a good time with
sweaty.
Allison. Right. He's up there to get another drink and she sees him and starts talking to him. And it takes him a second to figure out who it is. Well,
Right.
it's the mother of the son that he accidentally
This was
killed.
clearly a teen dance party, though.
Yeah.
And I know it was at a bar, but
Yeah.
it was very much a young dance
Mhm.
group. So I don't know what.
Except for Nick Castle
Except for him and her.
and her. Yeah.
Maybe they were boning.
Maybe.
That's hot.
Maybe. Could be. Don't
for
know.
her. She needs to get out there again.
So this freaks him out because the mother lets him have it. You
She
killed my
does.
son. I wake up every morning and, I don't have my son and you're here having a good time. And so he freaks and he runs out of the bar. And Allison follows him and he
Right.
kind of goes off on her. How could you bring me here and then just leave me to the wolves, basically, and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, because she knew that lady was going to be there.
Yeah, exactly.
No, he's a walking red flag, if I'm being honest.
Ooh, that's an understatement.
Yeah. Well, just like a lot of the things, because he's like, people look at him, he's like, oh, he's just like a dorky little kid. It's like, no, this man is not.
There are problems.
There's problems. And I mean, I get the problems,
Mhm.
especially when we learn later, but
Yeah.
let's deal with those.
So he walks off and he's walking across this bridge when the bullies just happen to roll up on him.
Here they are.
Here they are in the car and they're a little convertible. And so they get out and start taunting him.
Yeah, it's just like little taunting, like little pushing, shoving, maybe.
Mhm.
It turns quickly, though,
Oh, very.
because then they pull out a knife and now it's attempted murder. And they end up, I don't know if they don't stab him, but I
Well,
think they
Corey has the knife.
Oh, that's
Corey
right.
pulls out the knife
Yeah.
and he's like, and they slap it out of his hand and it goes flying over the bridge. It's like, well,
that outta here.
Yeah, don't need that.
Boy brought a knife to a fist fight.
That's right. So they kind of beat him up a little bit, and then they actually, I don't think they intentionally tried to throw him off the bridge. It's just the way the action was, and he goes flying off the bridge and hits the bottom. It's a good distance down, but
it's not crazy though.
No.
Yeah. So he's laying there, and then fucking goddamn Pennywise drags him into the sewer.
pretty much.
So dumb.
So Michael Myers is there. That's where he's been
That's
hanging
where he's
out
been
in the sewer.
for 4 years.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
chilling.
Michael chokes him, but then looks into his eyes, I guess, and
What is
realizes,
this?
I don't know. This is where it starts to get really strange because, first of all, Michael doesn't have a sidekick. He's never had a sidekick. Why would he want a sidekick?
Well, and so he's choking him, and instead of just like killing him, which is what Michael Myers would do,
Mm-hmm.
he I guess looks into his eyes and sees his whole life story.
I guess.
Because it just starts flashing his life story, and then he kind of lets him go, and almost with like a slap on the back with like, "Go get him, Tiger."
Right.
It's weird.
Right. So he exits the sewer. Now it's daylight, so I guess he's been in there for a bit.
They had a sleepover.
Yeah, they had a little sleepover, and there's a homeless man, crazy homeless man who we saw earlier in the film under this bridge. Now he's there again.
Right.
He lives there. He is claiming to be, I'm Michael Myers, and he's got a knife, and he's threatening to kill Corey. Corey takes the knife away from him because I think it was his knife to begin with that got knocked over the bridge, and stabs this man to death.
Yeah.
Which is kill number 5.
So I guess so. With this it's all about infection in this one. So clearly Michael just passed his essence into this kid, and now Corey's a cold-blooded killer.
Right.
I hate even saying that because it's so goddamn stupid.
It's just strange that this does not feel like a Halloween movie to me.
Oh, and by the way, this is like a halfway point.
Yeah.
Like Michael hasn't shown up for like almost an hour in.
Yeah, something like that. I mean, we're pretty far into this at this point. So we go to a diner next where Corey and Allison are hanging out, having a good time, when Officer Doug, the ex-boyfriend of Allison, is sitting over at some kind of an anniversary party or something with his little cronies. And so he sees Allison and he comes over and is just starting trouble, trying to just taunt the kid and all this stuff. And so
he finally like has enough and tells the officer off and tells him to like fuck off, and he does. And Allison just gets even hotter for him. She's like, "Oh my God.
Yeah.
This is a man."
Their love deepens.
It's igniting. It's a fire. It's infecting her.
Yeah. I'm surprised that the cop actually went back and didn't like start
Get
something.
His other cop friends to come
back over.
Yeah. I mean, that's what would have happened in real life.
Yeah. So he lures the cop. Well, he doesn't really lure him. I mean, he does. He does.
He knows he's following him.
Yeah.
So he leads him to the sewer opening.
Right.
And then, helps bring Mikey some food. It feels like he DoorDashed him some food.
That's what it feels like.
It's a thing.
So he goes in through the sewer opening and he's hiding. It's now hide and seek. And he's trying to lure him deeper and deeper. And he does.
Yeah.
And that's when Michael strikes.
But he doesn't just kill. Like, he struggles.
He does.
Like, it takes him a minute. Like, he's a weak man.
He's older now and maybe a little bit,
He was already
softer.
like 80 in the other ones. I don't understand. I don't get it.
Yeah.
Why they made him so weak when he should have been at his most powerful.
So Officer Doug gets his throat slit and then he's stabbed several times by Michael down there. And you just see, this is kind of now where Corey is really starting to turn to the dark side even more. And
do you want to know kind of a dumb touch with this scene?
Yeah.
So with this idea of him infecting the town, they even have a Michael Myers mask in the sewer, but it's like the rock work. So it's like, it's infecting even the land.
Right.
It's so dumb.
Right. So kill number 6 goes to Officer Doug, and Corey and Michael are forming this very strange bond with each other. And
the thing is, I could have been on board with this. I could have even been on board with the sidekick.
Right.
But they just don't handle it right. That's the problem.
That is the problem. And Corey and Allison's relationship continues to strengthen. And now they talk about leaving Haddonfield together, getting out of the town because everybody knows who Corey is and he's tired of all the bullshit. Allison is now, I don't know if she's brainwashed. I don't know what's going on in her head now, but she's wanting to go too.
She's completely just on board with this kid's bullshit. I don't know. It's weird.
And at the same time, Lori is now starting to grow suspicious and have really bad feelings, dark feelings.
Because when, right after he kills that homeless man, he's then seen outside her house doing the bush thing that Michael did.
Yes. Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. And she sees him out the window.
And he's just creeping on Lori. And so she's like, oh, he's bad.
Yeah.
He's been infected.
Yep.
Goddamn infection.
There's a line later where she says she looked into his eyes and saw just what she saw in Michael Myers. But he's there.
And I looked into his eyes and I didn't see it.
You didn't see that
I didn't see it.
No, I didn't either.
I don't know what these people are seeing.
I know. So he's actually there to apologize to Allison. And he says, she comes downstairs and you want to go for a walk. And they go for a walk. And that's when they start getting,
even
closer.
more in love.
Yeah, then they decide they want to leave together. But Laurie's very wary of Corey, and
there's even a moment, I don't know when this is in the movie, but she meets with the dad of Jeremy. So we met Jeremy's mom at the bar, and she freaks out on him. We then meet Jeremy's dad, and he's talking to Laurie about how he's like, I never thought he was a bad kid. I thought it was circumstance until I saw him like a week ago.
Yeah.
And his eyes. Like,
Yeah. And that convinces her that something very strange is now going on. Something evil is going on. And so her suspicion continues to grow. And so Corey now kind of takes on Michael's persona a little bit. He embarks on his own little mini killing spree here, wearing Michael's mask. So there's a girl in this movie called Deb that works with Allison. She's a very stuck-up snob who got a promotion in that doctor's office over Allison. And it's because, obviously,
she be blowing him.
Yep, doing something to him because they're an item. And so we find out now that there's more than a professional relationship between Deb and Dr. Mathis. And we end up back at Dr. Mathis's house. He's out on the, it's nighttime. He's going to...
They're pouring some drinks. She's going to take a shower.
Yeah.
And I think he's going to meet her out by the pool.
Yeah,
he does.
He does.
He's there.
He's there.
Yeah.
He starts to light the outdoor fire pit. And
the man's a romantic.
Absolutely. And she goes, and he's bought her a gift, by the way.
Isn't it
it's like a
robe or something?
It's a robe. Yeah.
Everyone loves a robe.
Yeah, absolutely.
If someone's trying to bang me, buy me a robe. It's going to do the trick.
So she's going to go in and take a shower. He tells her to go clean up. So I was like, well, that's rude.
Whoa.
Okay.
What about you, Mr. Doctor?
Exactly. So she heads for the bathroom too, and that's where she finds the robe on the way there. And then she's in there and she hears some noises coming from outside. Well, it's our good friend Corey who has shown up. And
he's in his little scarecrow mask.
Yep.
And this scene is effective.
It's pretty good.
It's good.
It's pretty good.
Like she goes out and Corey's kind of like sitting behind the doctor, and the doctor has a plastic bag over his head, and Corey's just fucking nailing him with a corkscrew.
Yeah.
And the effect on this is great too, because like the mannequin head or whatever has an ability to breathe, because you see the bag going in and out of his mouth as if he's trying to breathe. It's a really good kill.
It was very claustrophobic for me because I am claustrophobic, and so seeing that,
I don't care for a bag on my head.
Not so
Never
much.
been too keen on that.
No,
but no, this is this is one of those moments where you're like, okay, maybe it's gonna be good, because it does. It keeps it tricks you every once in a while. We're like, we know what we're competent until we're not.
Yes.
So yeah, whatever.
And then Deb comes out
and sees this and is horrified.
Yeah. So she goes running back in, and there's a sliding glass door she goes through, and Corey's right on her heels.
Right.
And he sticks his arm in, and she slams the door on his arm, and he's like, pulls it out, and then she locks the door. But she ain't out of the woods yet.
No, because Corey wasn't there alone.
No, he brought his friend.
Michael along for the ride, and Michael ends up killing her. And I hate this kill because it's one of those kills that has been recycled in this franchise so many times.
Yeah.
It's the pick them up, stab them against the wall, and they stay hanging there.
The thought of Corey and Michael Myers just cruising down the street.
How did they get there? Because this is in the rich district. It's like far away.
Yeah.
And all Corey has is a motorcycle.
Well,
so was Michael on the back of that bike gripping his waist?
That would be the most.
Had to have
he
been.
had to have been. I wish we could have seen
We don't get to see it, but it's what had to have happened.
Yeah, he has no
They
other
didn't
vehicle.
walk.
No.
Michael's too old and frail now, apparently.
Right. Well, not frail enough to take a full-grown woman and grab her by the neck, lift her up, and then pin her there
His
with a
frailty
butcher knife.
comes and goes whenever the plot needs it to.
Got it.
Yeah, but so yeah, they definitely cuddled on the back of a bike though.
So Dr. Mathis and Deb are kills number 7 and 8.
And if you're wondering if Michael did the head tilt thing with the kill, of course he did.
Of course he did. Yeah. Well, let's go back to the junkyard now.
Now things are getting exciting.
This is actually a pretty cool scene with a lot of fun things.
Oh, but we do have to talk because before this scene, Corey does go back to Michael's little hideout in the sewer.
Oh, right.
Beat the fuck out of him.
Yeah.
And steal his mask.
Yeah.
And he's like even whispering as he's like beating him up. He's like, "You're just an old man." Like,
Yeah.
it's just like, why would you do that to
Yeah.
Michael Myers?
That was odd. And the fact that he was able to do it.
Easily.
Michael
Michael didn't have a chance.
Right.
Like, he
Right.
kicked his ass.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. I did forget about that. That was very strange to watch.
Honestly, I would have been able to forgive a lot in this movie if that scene was left out.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was really a nail in the coffin kind of moment.
Well, it was almost like, in a way, they're trying to make him the heir apparent to a new franchise or
But
something.
then they don't.
But then, well, they can't because of what happens to him later.
Right, but that's what it feels like in a
Yeah.
lot of this movie is
Yeah.
they set something up and then they back out of doing
They
that.
do.
They're like, oh, no, actually, maybe not. Like,
because
I don't.
they're showing Michael as this weak individual for the first time in this
Ever.
entire franchise.
Ever, yeah.
You know, and yeah, the bullshit movies that come in between the original and
Even then, he's stronger in those
he
than
was
anything
way
in this.
stronger.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying all of those are bullshit. There's some that are decent, but there are some
There's a
that
lot,
there's a
yeah.
lot in there. There's a lot of movies. But yeah, this is the weakest we've ever seen him. And you just never really know. They've never made clear whether he's
Why?
human or if he's some supernatural or what's going on. But anybody who gets killed this many times.
Well, and they keep
know.
they keep dropping shit where they're like, he is supernatural, but they never commit
No.
to anything in this little trilogy.
Right.
That's the most frustrating thing.
So the bullies, we'll go back to the junkyard. They are there to cause trouble, and they're there looking for Corey, and he is there. He's there.
Looks a
and
little different.
so is the stepfather. He's there in the office.
Watching like a Rob Van Dam movie.
something. Yeah, I think so.
No, not Rob Van Dam. That's the wrestler.
That's the wrestler.
RVD.
Jean-Claude
Van
Van Damme, yeah.
that Van Dam.
That Van Damme.
I think he's a less cool Van Dam
Yeah.
than RVD. if I'm
Yeah, I
being
think
real.
so too.
Yeah.
I think so too.
Shout out RVD.
So they get there and they see his motorcycle and they're looking for things to do. And they're like, okay, we're going to, kill the motorcycle.
Yeah.
So
Kick it over.
yeah,
That'll get him.
and hook a chain up to it. We're going to drag it till it falls apart.
What a crazy kid.
So the kid, one of the buddies, kid by the name
Billy.
of Billy, jumps in the car ready to go. And so they get the motorcycle chained up to
And
the back
he's
of
the
the car.
drummer of the group.
He's the drummer. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So then the main bully, Terry, says, all right, come on, let's go, Billy. No response.
Let's get this prank rolling.
Yeah, come on. So he walks up to the car, and Billy has been stabbed in the eye with
A drumstick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like he's gone.
Oh, he's fucked.
dead.
Yeah.
So now they start to panic, and he is kill number 9. Then we have another very fun moment where Margot runs to get away,
She does.
and she is at the fence, which Corey has now slid shut and chained locked. So she's standing there, and now Corey is in the tow truck.
Well, no, she gets over it.
She does
But
get
then-
over it.
Yeah, then she gets hit by Corey in the truck, which then pins her like under this fence.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
it's this
So
fucking part.
he gets out of the truck with a monkey wrench,
Yeah.
and another one of the bullies,
Stacy.
yeah, who was actually more of the compassionate sort of. The girls weren't as bad as the boys.
No,
in
but
this,
they did choose to hang out with these idiots.
They
so
did.
Guilty by association,
They
I
did.
guess.
So Stacy gets bludgeoned with the monkey wrench. We don't actually we don't actually see it.
No, we
but
see
it's
her
off
body
screen.
later.
Yeah, we do see that.
And that ruckus finally alerts Ronald.
Well, it's Terry who goes running up to the
oh,
window.
that's right.
And he's
Yeah.
like, what's going on? So Terry goes in. The stepfather, Ronald, is dumb enough to give this kid a
he
gun.
just hands a teenager a random gun.
A loaded gun.
Yeah, I'm like, have at it, boy.
Yeah. You stay in here. Stay in here. I'm going to go out. So Ronald, the stepfather, goes out and he sees what's going on. Then he sees Corey take off the mask that he's wearing. He's like, Corey?
My boy.
And then
You're better
Terry,
than this, son.
Terry comes running out.
God damn it.
And Ronald is standing between Corey and Terry.
Because there's the girl pinned to the thing. I
Yeah.
think he's talking to her, be like, it's gonna
Yeah.
be okay,
Yeah.
sweetie. And yeah,
So Terry goes to shoot, and at that moment, Ronald stands up and takes the bullet in the head and goes down.
Yeah.
So Ronald is kill number 11. Stacy was kill number 10.
Terry is on the ground, and Corey comes up with one of these like blow torches, and just shoves it while it's lit down this kid's throat.
Right.
And you see it so the camera's right in front of it as it's happening, but it's out of focus and is focused on the background, which is Margot
trapped
watching
under the fence.
this. Yeah. But you do see kind of like a little bit. I just wish we could have actually seen what was happening.
Yeah. So so that's it for Terry, kill number 12, and then poor Margot. This is horrible because she can't get away because the weight of this fence and the tow truck are now pinning her down.
She's fucked.
So Corey goes up and just stomps her head, and then gets back in the tow truck and runs over her, and down the road he goes.
It's kind of crazy because like up to this point, it's a very tame as far as gore.
Yeah.
And then out of nowhere, it becomes one of the goriest in the series.
It really does. It does. This is not Terrifier level, but it ramps up.
It does. It definitely does.
Yeah.
And then, this did happen before. I don't know when, but Corey goes home, and Corey's mom is abusive.
Yeah.
She like doesn't let him eat dinner randomly. Like she just is very, very weird with her kid. But at one point she slaps him and then like tries to make out with him.
That was weird.
Yeah. So she's like physically abusive, psychologically abusive, and I guess sexually abusive towards this kid as well.
She immediately felt some sort of remorse after slapping him, and then laid this lip locker on him, and it was like,
but instead of like remorse, it was like horny remorse.
Horny remorse.
Like, God damn, I gotta kiss this boy.
Yeah, just another squirrely moment in this movie that you're like, where did that come from?
Yeah, are we gonna like elaborate on this? No, of course not. Of course we're not. It's just gonna be how it is, I guess.
Well, she ends up dying.
Yeah, he's had enough of that nonsense.
Yeah, so she goes back into the living room and sits down and is watching this cooking show.
And she's like, has Elmer's glue on her like TV dinner tray, and I don't know what she's doing with that. I think she's putting it on her fingers.
Yeah,
which was fun.
Yeah,
I used to do that
as a child. Yes. So he comes up behind her. She sees his reflection and looks up, and that's boom, gone.
Yeah, she's killed off screen, and you just see her body.
Yeah, so she is stabbed. That is kill number 14.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a local radio station, WURJ.
Yeah.
And there is a disc jockey by the name of, what's his name?
Willie the Kid.
Willie the Kid. And this guy.
He's like a propaganda guy for this town.
He's almost like it's a music show that he does, but he's very controversial, talking about Michael Myers and everything
he's
that's
got the dumbest takes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And there was a scene earlier where Corey and Allison are there. They're sitting on the roof, and then he gets really weird and like jumps off the roof, and she thinks he's like jumping to his death, but he lands on a lower rooftop, and then, and the DJ comes out and, what are you all doing here? This is private property. And then he recognizes both of them and starts, taunting them.
Bullshit. Yeah.
So we return to the radio station now, and this guy's on the air. And I will say, I mean, you and I have done radio a long time, and it's been a really long time since I got to use turntables and vinyl on a radio station. And this guy's doing that. This is like old school radio.
That's how they do it at WURG.
Yeah, exactly. WURG. WURG. It's hard to say.
Yeah,
WURG.
WU.
So, he shows up.
It kills one of the receptionists. You don't really see it. It's out of focus.
You can't really see what's happening there, but she's kill number 15. And
then he bursts into the studio as this guy's on air.
Yes.
God, and this kill's good.
This is a good kill. This is Willie the Kid on the air, and he's playing a record, and he turns around and says, "What are you doing here?" And so he takes him and he bashes his head into the turntable like multiple times and sits him back up.
And his jaw is like so broken, it's just like hanging wide open.
Yeah.
It looks disgusting. And then Corey just like grabs a pair of scissors and just cuts his tongue out, and it falls onto the turntable. And you just see his cut off tongue going around and around and around.
And it keeps hitting the needle of the record, the record player, and it keeps
skipping.
Jumping up and down on the record.
Yeah.
We cut to a scene where Allison is
listening in the car, and she hears it.
She's
skipping.
Listening, and she just turns the radio off in the car.
So fucking great. This is a great kill.
Oh God, it was.
It's a gory one too, and just like the jaw practical effect is gnarly as hell.
Yeah.
Willie the Kid, dead as hell.
Kill number 16. So we're going to go back to Laurie Strode's house. And she basically fakes a suicide attempt to lure Corey out.
Yeah, and I don't remember, again, when this was, because there's so many dumb talks in this movie. One of them was with Laurie. She confronts Corey, because Corey's sleeping at the house of the kid he killed.
Yes.
And he sleeps in that spot where the kid's body was. So,
and she showed up there.
and it was just basically like, stay away from Allison. And he has another red flag moment where he's like, if I can't have her, no one can. And all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, he then shows up to Laurie's house, and she's kind of like, you hear her being like, I can't do it anymore. Like, kind of
Can't take this.
Can't take it.
Yeah.
So then you hear a gunshot, and you hear splatter against the wall.
Right.
And
And she had fake called 911 to report a suicide.
Yeah.
And she's doing this all out loud because she know Corey is in the house within earshot.
Right. So Corey's thinking, oh, she's dead.
Yep.
And he goes in, she's not, and she's like a gotcha kind of moment.
She shot a pumpkin. Yep.
So that's what exploded. Speaking of pumpkin guts, there is a moment earlier in the movie where she has like a fistful of pumpkin guts and is telling Allison that she just needs to like show the world her tits and like go get it, and then she smashes the gut. I hated that scene.
There was a lot of things in this movie I did not like.
No, that was one of them.
Yep.
So yeah, then she ends up shooting Corey, who falls down the banister.
Yep.
And is now just like laying there and like, ow, you shot me. God, he turns into such a bitch so quick too.
He does. And
I thought he was Big Bad Michael.
She's standing over him, and then he decides to basically kill himself, and he stabs himself in the neck to frame Laurie, make it look like she's the one who killed him. And she's down there trying to save him, and she pulls the knife out just as Allison walks in the door.
So now Allison's like, you always knew you were bad, and she berates her and blah, blah, blah.
And then she flees in distress. Well, guess who's back?
Now Michael shows up, grabs his mask, and he ends up finishing off Corey.
Yeah.
So yeah, that whole
like
he's going to be the heir thing.
Yeah,
that's done. We're done with that.
When that happened, I'm like, okay, well, I guess that's not what the plan is.
So this was pointless.
Yeah,
the whole thing was pointless.
Yep.
And now we finally get Michael Myers for Laurie Strode.
Yep.
We just had to have a whole bunch of filler in between.
So there's a big fight in the kitchen.
It's decent.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah, it's something we've seen before.
That's exactly it. It felt like the 2018 fight.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
She does end up stabbing his hand onto the table and kind of like crucifies him against this table.
Right.
And then puts a refrigerator on top of him for good measure.
Just to pin him there. Yeah.
And then that's where she goes. She's like, takes his mask off and like, you're nothing. You're not superhuman. You're just an old, frail man.
But he's not done yet.
So, and this again, where it's like the movie can't commit to what he is.
Yeah.
So she slices his throat. He then rips his hand out. So his hand is kind of just hanging there.
Yeah.
And then starts choking her.
Yeah.
And she doesn't seem to hate it.
No, she doesn't.
She's kind of like, do it.
Well, Allison has come back.
Because she saw the mess with the radio station.
Yep.
And it's like, oh, Corey, okay, I guess he's bad now.
Yeah.
She's flip-flopping quicker than
a wrestler can. Yeah. Yeah.
And so now she's back to help save the day.
And she does.
She does.
And she breaks his arm.
Which is pretty cool.
That was awesome. And then they get him down, and then they ended up they finish him off.
They finish him off, but it's such a weird way to finish him off.
Yeah.
She slits his wrists like upwards.
Yep.
And I guess that's killed. And then she holds his hand.
Yeah.
As he's dying, as if like a kind of like a comforting send you off. Like,
I guess
I had to do this.
Yeah.
Like,
you gave me no choice, Michael Myers.
Right. Like it's so weird.
So the death was actually pretty cool. That whole scene was good.
It's fine. Yeah, it's fine.
But now the pendulum swings completely the other way, and we get this ridiculous scene this is how this movie ends. So the police show up, and Will Patton's character, Deputy Frank Hawkins, shows up, and they bring Michael out, and they're strapping him to the top of the car, his dead body.
Like a deer carcass.
Pretty much. And now they're going to go to the junkyard and put him in the industrial shredder. And the cops are standing there going, no, we can't do this. We can't do this. And then Will Patton's character's like, we're going.
Can.
Yeah, we can.
We will.
And we're doing it.
And I guess they got in touch with every person in town.
Yes. Because now
it's a parade.
It's a parade. That's exactly what it is. There's this procession led by police cars with, their car in the middle with the body on top. They're driving through town, and this crowd of people, including the current sheriff who we saw, in the last one, played by Omar Dorsey, he's in the crowd too, and they're all just making their way to the junkyard, which
loving this. And then we get a bunch of characters that we saw throughout the other movies.
Yep.
Like
the woman who lost her husband in the last
should
one
definitely be dead, but isn't.
Isn't. She had a confrontation with her earlier or with her sister earlier in the film, but she's wheelchair bound, can't speak because of what Michael Myers did to her in the last film. She is now at the junkyard.
We had dope ass Julian there.
Yep.
It was the kid who was getting babysat in the first movie.
Yep.
So everyone in town has got the memo and showed up to this thing.
Yeah, they did, which was ridiculous. It just was so silly, and I hated this.
It's stupid.
So they get to the dump, and they dump him into the shredder.
They do.
And that's
Holy
that.
shit.
And in the aftermath, Allison ends up leaving the town of Haddonfield.
Right.
Lori finishes her memoir and then kind of rekindles her relationship with Deputy Frank.
Yep. So her and Hawkins are an item, I guess. And she does, what does she say while she's finishing her book? He's like, I think I killed my bookie man, but I'll never know because evil doesn't go away. It just transforms its shape or something like that. Again, it's like, why are you now introducing, it seems like you're trying to introduce a new thing.
Yeah.
Even though you killed off that option.
Right.
I hate this movie.
I'm not a fan either. And I wanted to be.
I did too.
Really wanted this to be good. So, favorite scene, I would say probably the junkyard. I will throw in a least favorite scene, and that is the parade through town at the end. I thought that was just dumb.
Yeah.
My favorite kill was definitely Willie the Kid at the radio station. And favorite character, honestly, Michael Myers for me, except he was weak.
He's such a little
I couldn't
weakling.
come up with anybody else that I actually liked. Maybe Lindsay, because she's so neutral in this thing and not really in it a lot. But
so my favorite scene, I think, is the opening scene. It's pretty darn good. Would it be better as its own little separate short film? Sure. But whatever. It's still effective. I enjoyed it.
Yep.
Favorite kill is Willie the Kid.
Yeah.
It's incredible. It's great. It's a great kill.
I'll tell you who was a very close second. And that was Margot.
With the head stomp.
With the head stomp under the fence.
Head stomps are always effective.
Yeah,
they're a crowd pleaser.
Yep.
Favorite character, Judy Greer, because she's shown in the flashback.
Oh yeah, that's right. You can do that. Absolutely.
Or Willie the Kid, one of those. But it's Judy Greer. I love her.
She's great.
And then I think that's everything. Star grade
2.
1.5.
I gave it 2.
Yeah.
Just because, but not great.
This is definitely our lowest rated movie.
Between the two of us, I agree. Yeah. It just did not do what I was hoping it was going to do. This was not a great way to wind down this franchise, if they do indeed wind it down.
Well, they won't, but they'll do another thing. It'll just be in a separate timeline because that's what they do in this franchise.
Yes, they do. Definitely.
Is this the only one that does that?
Like this? Yeah. I mean, because they chose to ignore everything between the original.
Right. And it's not the first time this franchise has done that.
No, it's gone off in different directions.
Yeah.
And then Halloween 3 wasn't even a Michael Myers movie.
So that's a separate thing.
That's a whole different thing too.
Yeah, I know at least there's a minimum of 4 separate timelines, like 4 separate stories within this franchise, which is crazy.
Yep. So there it is. Halloween Ends. Hey, make sure you check out our friend Courtney and Jaunty Haunts, a podcast about the supernatural, hosted by Courtney, the self-proclaimed seer. After 30 years of keeping it a secret that she can see ghosts, she is finally sharing her stories. It's great.
Yeah, in each episode, she's diving into eerie encounters, tales, which are better stories than this movie.
Oh, man.
Of seen and the unseen. She's got some guests on there to share their own experiences with the paranormal. It's spooky, funny, and even relatable.
Very much so. Yeah. Very much so. Whether you're a skeptic or a believer, you'll find something to love. You can listen to Jaunty Haunts wherever you get your podcasts. You definitely do not want to miss it. Scare preview time. Michael, you have an interesting film.
Yeah, so I guess after the rule of Jenny Penn, old folks' homes are going to be a new horror staple because we got The Home, which comes out July 25th. It's directed by James D. Monaco, but it's starring Pete Davidson.
Yeah.
Pete Davidson. The trailer just dropped, but the synopsis is Max, played by Pete Davidson, is a troubled man who starts working at a retirement home and realizes its residents and caretakers harbor sinister secrets. As he investigates the building and its forbidden 4th floor, he starts to uncover connections to his own past and upbringing as a foster child. So, July, The Home, Pete Davidson, and it's directed by the guy who did the first Purge. He did a few of the Purges, actually. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Interesting. All right, I have a film called Alma and the Wolf, due for release in June this month, on the 20th. So this is an upcoming psychological horror mystery film directed by Michael Patrick Jan. It stars Ethan Embry, Lee Jun Lee, Jeremy Harris, Lucas Jan, and Kevin Allison. Set on the Oregon coast.
Ooh, okay.
Troubled police officer Ren Accord investigates a mysterious wolf attack. Things escalate when his estranged son vanishes during the case. This premiered at the Boston Underground Film Festival back in March, and again will be released June 20th. Alma and the Wolf.
Okay, I'm sold.
Looks pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Well, that wraps up episode 27. Thank you for listening. Next week, because we are coming on to a Friday the 13th, our next episode is on the 12th, so we are going to take you back to 1980 to the original Friday the 13th. This is my favorite horror franchise. Like it is, like Scream is to you, Friday the 13th is to me.
Alrighty.
So I'm excited about this film. I remember seeing it too young, I'm sure, but it's one of those classics.
It definitely is, and it's kind of a interesting one. Specifically, I mean, we'll get to it, but yeah, it's a very interesting way to start a franchise.
Sure. And Adrienne King, who was the final girl, she lives in our area, so
she does.
It's nice to have her around.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's next week. Subscribe and like the podcast and email or message us.
Yeah, you can email us, openingkillpod@gmail.com.
Perfect. We'll see you next week for Friday the 13th. Thanks for listening.
The Opening Kill podcast is hosted by Michael Duran and Brian O'Connor. It's produced by Mystic Cloud Productions. Thanks for listening. And don't forget to subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or anywhere you listen to your favorite podcasts. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram too. Join us next Thursday for a brand new episode.